Happy Saturday. Happy weekend, everybody. Hope that this audio video, as always, finds everybody doing well. I was doing some research about something. Sometimes people think that it takes an incredible change to make their financial month, get better. Not necessarily. You see, this is why it is important to stay on top of a budget, to get familiar with your numbers, and to examine if there are any changes going on with your bills or whatever. It is really important. So one day, I meant to mention this a while ago. One day, a few years back, I saw that despite all of my, intentions and everything and all, I'm like, well, why am I having it really tough making it ends meet? This was a few years back. And I said, I do all the things, I pull out all the stops and this and that. And then I realized something. I said, aha. I said, you have to do a little math. Now, most of you that listen on a regular basis, I am not a fan of math. However, it comes in handy every now and then. So when I recognized that this little thing, this little factor, it was just a matter of $300. $300 was getting in the way of my financial peace of mind. I said, aha. Now, sometimes it really takes a minute or two, even maybe a whole hour. Write that down. To uncover some truths about your budget. Now, budgets are a thing that change every single month. Your income might be the same, but your outgo might be different from month to month. Example, Christmas month, for example, may be totally different with the outgo as opposed to, let's say, a much more quiet month. For example, perhaps March or April, whatever month that's quieter for you on the spending end of things. But I realized, I said, where is this gap coming from? Then I recognized, number one, a couple of bills went up insidiously. I thought I caught it at that time. I did not. That's why I'm saying be really attentive to your bills. They were like these little, cute little rate increases going on. You know what I mean? So there were a couple of rate increases on a couple of my bills. And I said, okay. So that was part of the problem. Then another part of the problem was that I was making a mistake mathematically with something. So, you got to account for human error. Now, what happens when you discover the gap? That gap, because I always want to save. I always want to have extra. I always want to live below my means. I don't want to spend money from the future. I don't want to borrow money from the future. No, because to me, that's like stealing your own future financially. That's the way I feel about it. I rather live below my means. There goes the bird again. Hang on. Ay, 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 ay. That particular one, I had to let it roll because the way he goes, eh, 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 eh. So I said, okay, so how am I going to fix this? Well, Jan, you got one of two things. Either you're going to bring in more income, or you're going to plug up the spaces and cut back on certain areas. So at that time, I chose to cut back on certain areas and to be much, 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 much more attentive at that time to any changes. This is why, like for those that pay on auto pay, yes, it's convenient. Yes, it's great. Just be mindful that numbers can change. People change things. Okay. So do you realize that only maybe a matter of a couple of $100 can mean the difference from someone running into their credit card and borrowing money to their future that they may not have as a payment for something, to pay right away. Listen, a credit card is a wonderful thing. And if used properly, it's a fantastic tool. And a credit card is really, really a short-term, it is a short-term loan. Credit card is a short-term loan. It is not your emergency fund, although people use it during emergencies, but it shouldn't be your emergency fund. And that's a separate show. And I know I've talked about it in the past, but it's always worth bearing repeating because not every person, every show is the same person listening to this show. If you get new subscribers, for example, they never heard it. Maybe they never heard that message. Okay. So I have to repeat some things sometimes. And anyway, the stuff I might be saying, no, the stuff I am saying, I know is of vital importance. So examine your situation. Sometimes people go into needless debt because they're not recognizing that some things are slipping through the cracks. Look through your budget. Ask yourself, is something different than, let's say, a couple of months back? Have your bills increased and you just didn't know it? Find holes in the budget and plug them up, either by increasing your income or cutting back. That could make such a major league difference. And like I said, personally, I love to live below my means and I love to have extra always to plan ahead and to save. All right. Listen, wishing everybody a very happy day and a great weekend. You take good care of yourself. Have a great day. And don't forget to do the following. Have an amazing, fantastic weekend. Take good care of yourself and each other.